Back here on CBS Sports HQ, man, the New York Liberty just keep on rolling. Number one in CBS Sports' WNBA Power Rankings, by the way, and it's for a reason. They had 4 games in 6 days, so that's 4 wins for the Liberty. And they won by a lot against the Connecticut Sun. A 48-point win. It was the second largest margin of victory in league history, and it moves them to 7-0 for the first time since 1997. Getting a look at the top performers in that nearly 50-point win: Sabrina, Stewie, and Jonquel Jones. Sabrina leading the way with 18 points and that nearly 50-point win over the Sun. Another fun fact, if you only counted the Liberty's 20-point wins this far, they'd have more victories than 8 of the other 12 teams. All right, it is time for Terrika's Top 10, presented by Capital One. These are our WNBA Power Rankings, basically the top 10 performers from last week. A'ja Wilson still sitting at the top in that number 1 spot. We just talked about Sabrina Ionescu. Rounding out the top 5, Napheesa Collier, number 4, and then Odyssey Sims rounding out the top 10. All right, let's dive into the top 10 here. We're going to highlight some of these players with Terrika Foster-Brasby here on HQ. And first, we're going to start at number 10 here, and that is Odyssey Sims, rounding out the top 10 out of LA. What did you like from what you saw from Odyssey here to bring her into the top 10, Terrika?
Well, she had a hell of a game against the Mercury for sure. And I think that she continues to show why she can be and is a top performer over the last week. Despite the Sparks not being able to pick up a win in those 2 games, they actually lost an 18-point lead over the Mercury. But I think Odyssey plays such a huge part in what the Sparks continue to show their potential to be. Now, this may be her first 30-point game in the WNBA in 6 years. But keep in mind, Sims has been playing overseas. She's been playing right here in the U.S. at Athletes Unlimited. She's dropped 30-plus points a few times just in 2025, right? And so one of the biggest issues that I think LA has faced in the past few years is that they have not had true leadership at the guard position. Well, Sims is a veteran player. She loves to attack the basket. We saw a lot of that. She was 10 of 14 from field goals. She can run an offense. I think she's found a home in LA, and this week just kind of gave us a taste of what she can do.
All right, we have 2 Liberty players that are in the top 10, and we want to talk about number 5, Sabrina Ionescu, because she led the way, 18 points in that historic win, nearly 50-point win over the Sun. What can you tell us about Sabrina and what you liked about her performance, especially in that game?
Well, yeah, well, you know, Jacqueline, you kind of touched on it when you started this segment, because with so much firepower that they have in New York and starting this season 7-0, which is the best start since this franchise started in 1997, there's a lot to be excited about in New York, and Sabrina is such a large part of that. She's coming off of an 18-point performance in 18 minutes. I'm going to say that again because sis literally dropped a point a minute, and every year we see Sabrina just continuing to mature as a player and as a leader for them. I just think that says a lot because this team is stacked with mature veteran players who can take over a game. You see Breanna Stewart had 13 points on Sunday. Dominant performance. JJ, she's a walking double-double. And then you add Natasha Cloud and what she brings to the guard position. This mix has the Liberty trending in the right direction, and Sabrina Ionescu is a huge part of that.
Yeah, I just want to reiterate that one stat, because if you count the Liberty's 20-point wins this season, they would still have more wins than 8 other teams in the WNBA. They're absolutely crazy. All right, that brings us to number 1 here on your list, and it is someone who is one of one in A'ja Wilson, a 3-time MVP, a 2-time champ. And there are a lot of questions about the Aces this season, right, and as a whole, but A'ja is consistent, and she is at the top of her game regardless of the other pieces out there, Terrika.
Yeah, like you can have all the questions in the world you want about Las Vegas, but there is one question you never got to ask, and that is about A'ja Wilson. She is queen. She averaged 27 points over this last week with 10 rebounds, 3.5 blocks. She helped the Aces go 2-0. A big win over, basically got their lick back against Seattle, who had delivered a 20-point blow to them earlier in this season. But big win over them. Another big win over the Los Angeles Sparks. A'ja Wilson continues to be the key piece and the catalyst to what this Vegas team can do. And no matter where we see Las Vegas, we always say in the back of our mind, well, anything can happen because they have the 3-time MVP in A'ja Wilson. She's continuing to up her game and play at an elite level every single week. You can't help but have her at number 1.
Yeah, if you have A'ja Wilson, it feels like you certainly have a chance. Terrika, we certainly appreciate it. Going through the WNBA Player Power Rankings based off of the performances that we saw last week, presented to you by Capital One. All right, looking ahead here to Saturday, Indiana Fever against the Chicago Sky, 8 Eastern. We have a WNBA tip-off show watching on Saturday on CBS. And, of course, you can stream all the action on Paramount Plus as well.